I'm 34, and I think I finally admitted something on my honeymoon that I had been avoiding for months. I don't recognize myself in my marriage anymore. That sounds dramatic. I know it does. But there is a very specific kind of exhaustion that comes from living every day like you are negotiating permission to be a person. Not permission to do something huge, just small things. Rest. Spend $10. Keep your own routine. Have one quiet hour. Enjoy something without it becoming a discussion. My wife's name is Liana. She's 30. We met through family friends about 3 years ago and got married last year. Same cultural background. Similar values on paper. Both of our families were thrilled because everything looked right. And for a while, I believed it was right. Liana can be warm. She remembers details. She buys thoughtful gifts. She sends long messages when she misses me. She says she loves me, and I believe she means it. That's part of why this has been so hard. If she were cruel all the time, I think I would already be gone. Before I got married, I had built a life I actually liked. I had a small apartment, a simple routine, my dog Milo, who I had raised from a puppy, a few hobbies, a job I was proud of, quiet evenings where nobody questioned why I needed space. I wasn't lonely. I was settled. I wanted to share my life, not surrender it. I didn't understand then how differently Liana and I saw marriage. For her, marriage means everything becomes joint. Every decision, every routine, every preference, every private corner of your life. At first, that sounded romantic. We're a team. We decide together. No secrets between husband and wife. But over time, it stopped feeling like closeness. It started feeling like inspection. It began with Milo. Liana knew I had a dog from the beginning. She said she was fine with it. She even used to send me cute dog videos and joke that Milo would have to approve of her. After the wedding, her anxiety around cleanliness got worse. I tried to compromise. I created dog-free rooms, bought extra rugs, moved furniture, added storage bins, cleaned constantly, wiped Milo's paws after walks, changed clothes more often than made sense. Every compromise became the new minimum. Then the rules expanded. One night, while she was visiting family in another city, she messaged me after midnight. "Did you wipe his paws?" I was half asleep. I said yes. She said, "I didn't see the wipes move on the camera." That sentence woke me up completely. Camera. We had a small camera in the living room for deliveries and to check on Milo. I did not realize it had become a way to check on me. I told her that felt uncomfortable. She said, "If you weren't doing anything wrong, why would you care?" That was the first time I remember thinking, this is not how I want to live. But I stayed, because marriage is supposed to take work, because she cried when I said I felt watched, because she said her anxiety was not her fault, because my family kept saying the first year is always hard, because her mother told me patience is how men prove love. So I kept adjusting, quietly, and every time I adjusted, there was less of me left. The wedding had already shown me signs. We started with a reasonable budget. It doubled. Not because of one huge decision, but because every small upgrade became impossible to question. Better flowers, better photos, better venue lighting, more guests from her side, another dress, a different makeup artist, a live musician for 1 hour because she said recorded music felt cheap. I paid most of it. I told myself I could handle it. I worked longer hours, took extra shifts, stopped buying things for myself. When I got tired, she said I was negative. When I got quiet, she said I was ruining the excitement. When I asked if we could slow down, she said, "You only care about money because you don't care about the day." That one hurt, because I cared. I was just drowning. 3 months before the wedding, she told me she wasn't sure we should get married because I seemed depressed. I remember sitting there stunned. I was working nearly 12-hour days. I was paying deposits. I was cleaning our apartment after she left clothes and makeup and shopping bags everywhere. I was walking Milo before sunrise because she didn't want dog smell near the bedroom. I was trying to be supportive while being slowly emptied out. And then she looked at me like my exhaustion was a character flaw. I should have paused everything then. I didn't. We got married. People cried. The photos looked beautiful. Everyone said we were perfect together. I remember smiling so much my face hurt. Not from happiness, from effort. Our honeymoon was supposed to fix things. That sounds stupid now, but I really believed that if we got away from family, money stress, wedding planning, and daily routines, maybe we would remember why we loved each other. We went to Lisbon and the southern coast of Portugal. I planned most of it. Hotels, trains, restaurants, a day trip, a small boat tour, everything. I thought it would feel romantic. Instead, it felt like being an assistant on a trip I paid for. The first full day, she slept late. That was fine. We were tired. Then she got upset because the cafe she wanted was too crowded. Then because the street was too steep. Then because I hadn't booked a restaurant with better lighting. Then because the wind messed up her hair in photos. I kept trying to reset the mood. It's okay. We'll find another place. We have time. Let's just enjoy this. But enjoying it was never the point anymore. Getting the version she imagined was the point. By day 3, most of the trip had become shopping and photos. Not exploring. Not relaxing. Not us. Just her list. Boutique. Perfume shops. A street she saw on social media. A tiled staircase she wanted photos on. A viewpoint where we had to go up and down twice because she didn't like how I framed the picture. At one point, I checked my phone and realized I had taken more than 100 photos of her in 2 days. There were maybe 3 of us together, and none of me alone. That shouldn't matter, but it did, because it felt like the whole marriage in miniature. Her visible, me useful. The argument happened at dinner. I had asked if we could do one thing I wanted the next morning, a coastal walk I had been looking forward to since I booked the trip. She said maybe. Then she added, but we need to go back to that shopping district first. I said, we already went twice. She said, you're counting now? I said, I'm trying to have one part of this trip that feels like mine. She put down her fork and stared at me. Then she said, you're making me feel guilty for wanting things. I said, no, I'm tired of my wants only mattering when they don't interfere with yours. She started crying. Not loudly, not fake, but enough that people looked over. And once again, I became the man comforting the woman I had upset by asking for something small. Back at the hotel, I said I wanted to sleep and talk in the morning. She refused. She turned on all the lights, sat on the bed, kept saying we needed to resolve it now. I said I was exhausted. She said, you always do this. You shut down when you're wrong. I said, I'm not shutting down. I'm asking to sleep. She said, if you loved me, you wouldn't be able to sleep while I'm hurting. That sentence made something in me go cold. Because suddenly I saw the pattern clearly. My tiredness was selfish. My space was suspicious. My money was shared when she wanted something, but my small purchases needed discussion. My dog was a problem to manage. My hobbies were distractions. My silence was punishment. My boundaries were proof I didn't love her enough, and love somehow always meant I had to move. The next morning, we missed the coastal walk. She said she would have gone if I had woken her earlier. I looked at her and said, you told me last night you didn't want to go. She said, that's not what I meant. I said, it is what you said. She said, you always take everything literally. That was the moment I stopped arguing. Not because I agreed, because I finally understood that facts did not matter if they made her look unfair. We finished the trip. That's the strange part. We still took trains, still ate dinner, still bought souvenirs, still sent smiling pictures to family. From the outside, it looked like a honeymoon. Inside, I was grieving a marriage I was still standing in. Update 1. When we got home, my friend Marcus came over to help me fix a shelf. He took one look at me and said, you look like you aged 5 years in 2 weeks. I laughed it off. Then he asked how the trip was. I told him a little. Not everything, just enough. He didn't laugh. He said, That doesn't sound like you anymore. That sentence stayed with me. Update 2. Liana and I had the conversation last night. I told her I feel like I'm disappearing. She said marriage means sacrifice. I said, sacrifice is not the same as erasing myself. She said, so you regret marrying me? I said, I regret ignoring myself to keep this peaceful. That was the most honest thing I have said in months. She cried again. I held her hand, but I didn't take the words back. That felt different. Sad, but different. Update 3. I don't know if we will stay married. I know people will say the first year is hard. I know people will say I need to be patient. I know people will say every marriage takes compromise. But compromise is supposed to leave both people still visible. Right now, I feel like my entire life has become a negotiation I never agreed to enter. I did not get married, so I could ask permission to be myself. I did not build a life just to become a guest inside it. Maybe that makes me selfish. Or maybe selfish is what people call you when you finally stop disappearing quietly.